Doran Scottson was just 3 days old when his mum was told he had serious brain damage.
The doctor was very sweet. He did his best. He told me it was a hopeless condition, that Doran would not be able to communicate at all, that he wouldn't be able to sit. It was a very severe condition called connectors, and in his case it was going to be impossible for him to recover in any capacity. And they looked at my situation and said, look, I feel you would be quite justified in considering putting him into care, because you won't be able to cope with him at home.
From that moment till today, she's worked on developing her technique, a sort of gentle massage and manipulation, to improve his condition, refusing to accept the doctor's diagnosis.
So just introducing you to the first set of exercise pressures that families work with their children. We are looking at diaphragm development and the way the diaphragm affects circulation and movement, and circulation of blood to the extremities, to the brain, to the internal organs, and of course to the lungs, through the lungs. So our theory is that the fetus before birth is breathing, that the diaphragm, we know, is moving against the lungs, and these gentle pressures help to increase blood supply through the lungs and are a trigger that switches on the genetic development in the lung cells. We also know that these pressures assist the flow of blood through the diaphragm. So we're working on tiny, tiny little blood vessels, and by gently compressing them so that the blood supply through is arrested for momentarily and then released, you get a pulse. I'll just show you a few. So the bottom of the sternum here, the rib cage parts here, forms a little triangle so we can get underneath the diaphragm. So just put the towel there and your hand lies lightly upon it, but in fact there's no pressure at all. So you want to start with no pressure at all, and you're going to descend until you feel a bit of resistance, but you can count initially. It's nice not to count in the end, just to have a really pleasant, gentle rhythm that's kind of embedded in the deliverer, so they can relax and the movements are just made spontaneously in a nice even way. But to begin with, no pressure and gently down. And we go to a count of 6 down, 6 up, and then a pause for 3. So it goes like this. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then pause, pause, pause. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're sort of just very, very, very gentle descent, like putting your hand on a water lily leaf and just gently pushing it a little bit underneath the water.
In the olden days, we were taught about the nervous system, different parts function in different ways, but there was no integration. But now we know that the nervous system, even a slowly spinal cord, is a hugely integrated system, and everything in the brain works together. You can't now separate one system from the other. So simply by changing the breathing pattern in the patient, Linda affected the whole body. It doesn't look like it. But I've seen the changes in those children, and I've seen it in the patients I work with, how they changed. From people that can't walk, eventually to people that could walk.
And it creates a very positive atmosphere around the brain injured child. You begin to realise, and the community begins to realise, there's a person there and a person who's working hard to get well.
This weekend, the boy who would never walk unaided completed the Seaford Half Marathon.
He's just been able to run 13 miles.
It will be wonderful because Doran will begin to demonstrate his own freedom as an individual, which is something I've longed for him to have, and I rejoice in myself, and to pass it to him is wonderful.
Well, I would say my mum, she's a fantastic woman, and she's doing everything else. So I like her. I love her with my heart and soul. She helped people a lot. She helped people by using the breathing pattern, stuff like that. She will walk with me. She talked with me. She definitely an amazing woman.
Go with your instinct, have faith, never give up hope, ever. I mean, the brain is amazing. You know, neuroplasticity is incredible. Possibilities are endless, as long as you know that, I think. I think if you accept that everything's going to be dismal and, you know, there's no hope, then that's kind of the trajectory you might go on.
But this world is so totally, totally different. It's an extraordinary world to be living in. But human beings can change remarkably given something warm to come into, as it were.
So, you know, I was inspired initially by her story of Doran, and I am still inspired by Doran's story. And I think for a parent like myself with an older daughter, you know, she's 19, so she's in adulthood now really, is that Doran continues to make progress.
So yeah, me and Ben, we're waiting for our turn in the healing pods. I said, Ben, I'll be in the next one beside you, and he said, well, when you get out, he said, I'll be gone. He said, I'll be on my motorbike. So he lives a great life.
Bizarre. I don't think, Linda, I don't think anyone can offer you hope. For me, all of the way through, even stood out of hospitals, I want to listen to other parents. I want to know their experiences. I trust other parents and their experiences so I can draw my own conclusions more than I trust the professionals, in essence.
So I am undeflected. I will continue whatever happens, because the information, I can't let it slip.
I'm going to try and be polite here. I was disappointed, of course, and then I was disgusted when this thesis was not accepted. Simply because I know it was work that deserved recognition.
But any change is a massive change to those parents and that child. And it is a life-changing thing, so it's something that carries on. It's not something you do for 3 years and then all of a sudden your child jumps up and skips off to school.
It's worked for me, so I was like, anyone watching, come and try it, and yeah, it's been brilliant.
It isn't always about the physical side of what's going on. Some children, it could just be the change in breathing, they're healthier, and that to the NHS should make a difference.
I'm currently in the process of setting up my sports club for special needs children. It's called Inclusive Sports Ability, and this place has enabled me to express my feelings and go on to bigger and better things.
And also, the people who tell you there is no hope, they are not in that situation. Look for parents who were told there was no hope and challenged that sentence. Those children are better off.
I think if we would have kept trying other things, my sense is that they may have taken care of one part and not the other. And I feel like with Linda's work, especially I think with mental and emotional health, I feel like it just addresses things generically across the board. Whether it's depression or whether it's fear or whether it's, the label doesn't matter. It's so universally applied. Whereas this, I feel, I'm so grateful we discovered this quite early in our journey actually, because it really just supports everything across the board.
And I look up to Linda. She's done better with these children. That is an inspiration for me. Look at better, different ways to offer a better future for your child.
The QED programme made a film about Doran Scotson, brain damaged by an attack of jaundice as a baby. His mother, Linda, refuses to accept that Doran is a second-class citizen.
You feel this way. Don't let their words fill you up with doubt. Lift your head and watch your dreams branch out. Don't you give up now. You have made your vows. You might not know how, but you will find the key. Feel your soul.
Where there's a will, there's a way, I think.
In your eyes, watch it come alive. This is your destiny.
And if people will take even parts of it, it would be something towards giving a much more hope for a much, much better outcome, but particularly for the brain injured child who can't speak for herself or himself. They can't speak for themselves.
Can you see how far you've come?
If you are interested in learning Linda's technique or would like to become a therapist yourself, please contact Linda and the team via Linda's website, advancedcenters.com.